Yay, we're back.
Yay.
What's up, everybody? We are back with episode number, check it out, 299.
That would be right.
And we have a special guest with us, as you can see up there in I guess that would be the left-hand corner. We have Charlie Bellmore, who you guys might know from, well, let's see. You were
like everybody. we can let him
playing
tell.
with Ripper, Jasta, Dee Snider. Weren't you in?
Let's see. We got Kingdom of Sorrow, Jasta, Toxic Holocaust. I was in the Ripper Owens band when we wrote the record together. I wrote the Corpse Grinder solo album with Jamie. Also Kings and Liars, and
there you go. That was what I was trying to think of. Kings and Liars.
Dee Snider, and I was in Many Eyes for a minute after I wrote the record, and then and now Eastblood.
Sweet.
There you go.
That's quite right a resume, dude.
Yes, it is. So before we start getting deep into talking to Charlie again, and actually, this is like we just were discussing this before we went on live, like his third or fourth time on the show. So yeah, he's just one of the guys now hanging out and talking metal with us. So anyhow, hey John, got anything you need to address? Or
yes, I'd like to thank the Harrison brothers, Steve and Lance, and Mike. Also, he's in Harrison. They sent me a really cool Concho t-shirt. Sent me an orange copy of their record, picks and patches, a CD. It was very nice of them to do that, and it sounds great. The record sounds really good, and other than a minor thing, it's awesome. So, but as I discussed with Scott, there was a minor glitch in spelling, and then it seemed to continue its pattern today. So they misspelled my name on 2 other items today, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. It must be something in the water. But
yep.
But anyway, yeah, shout out to them. Appreciate them sending me stuff like that. And of course, I've got my Harrison banner back there, and evidently I'm popular in Japan now because of the legend of Concho. So
right on.
Go from there.
How about you, Steve? Got anything?
Nope, nothing. Let's get going.
Oh, before we get into that, we got to get into that other thing that we do every week, and then we'll get into it. Ready? Here we go. Boy.
All right. This is my favorite part. I love that riff. That sounds like something Charlie Bellmore wrote it, actually. But okay, so my 2 picks of the week. I got a rock pick and I got a metal pick. And honestly, these are kind of like, they kind of straddle the line. So here's my first one. Kings and Liars. I think every metalhead needs this in their collection. This is Transition Animals. And Charlie knows all about it. He can tell us a little bit about this. This is one of my favorite pieces of art that I've ever done. And it has a kind of a weird story behind it, but most of my stuff does. And for my metal pick, how about this? Leave a Scar, Dee Snider. And yeah, there's a very familiar name on this one too. And so, and your brother played on both of them too, right? Nicky played on.
Yes, yeah. He played on both.
And then Nick Petrino.
Yeah, Nick Petrino, also in Eastblood, played on Leave a Scar as well.
Okay. So there you go. Those are my 2 picks of the week. The rock pick, sort of rock, but more. It does have some metal riffing in it. Kings and Liars and Dee Snider, Leave Scars.
All right. Well, let's get into talking to our guests. We've got a bunch of people here. What's up? Tony Clem's here, Metal Overkill, Evan Williams, Tip Fam, and HPT Fan. Fraser Dawson, who's I don't think ever missed a show. Nordic Fire's here. Evan Williams is here. Lots of people here. Welcome, everybody. We've got, like I said earlier, we've got Charlie Bellmore with us. You guys got questions for him, leave them in the comments, and we'll ask him.
So, Charlie, I was going to say, I never noticed on your email, but it says singer-songwriter and riff monster.
Yes.
And I think that's a very apropos. That's a good thing. So, tell us when you started, and you kind of you gave us a rundown of all the projects that you participated in, but where did it actually start?
Like the journey of rock and roll and guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That started when I was 10 years old. My dad used to be a bar band bass player, and I asked him if he would teach me how to play bass, and he said no, because I'm not good. So I'm going to make you learn guitar. And he, found a teacher or whatever. And um, it was 1991. I was 10 years old, and I was playing the guitar, and there was this band Nirvana had come out, and I'm like, I want to learn how to play these songs. Can you teach me how to play these songs, teacher? And he was like, nah, we should just work on green sleeves or whatever. And he wouldn't teach me anything. And I learned whichever song it was. I learned one of them by ear, and that was kind of like the first. That was the first thing where I realized, like, oh, this is like a ability I have, and it kind of took off after that.
So do you actually read music, or do you just play by ear and that's it?
No, I can read music too, or as my old music teacher used to say, I can spell music. I'm not the greatest reader, but I can spell.
Well, that always helps, I guess. So, what was your first band?
Oh God. My first band was like a hardcore band. I was like 1997, and it was a hardcore band with two of the members of the Connecticut hardcore band Death Threat were in it. Wes and Steve, the guitar player and bass player respectively, and and then it was me and my brother, and we were called Disowned. Because my dad said that's what you're going to be if you keep playing this crappy music.
Sounds like my dad.
And we were like, oh, we kind of like that as a name. And so we had that band for 4 or 5 years. That's how we met Jasta way back then, because he was, Hatebreed had just kind of blown up. And he was only 2 or 3 years older than we all were. And everybody else, like in that Connecticut scene at the time, were all like in their 30s. So he just kind of were like, oh, I like those kids. They're hardworking kids, and they have nice equipment and whatever. And so we kind of just started working there. And then later on in the 2000s, we got into everything, space rock and blah 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 blah, and all that kind of stuff. And Nikki at some point joined Toxic, and I started I started Kings and Liars probably like 2010 or something. So in between touring with various other bands and all that stuff, I started trying to do something of my own, because I always kind of played with other people.
Right on. So I noticed that you didn't actually play on a Toxic Holocaust record, but you did tour with them, right?
Yeah, toured with them for 3 years. Joel liked, I told him early on, because he said, oh, I think I might be doing a new record. And I said, well, you don't need me to, I don't have to play on it if you want it to, sound more like Toxic Holocaust or whatever. And then he was going to do the playing on it, and then I was going to tour on it. And then we got the offer from Dee Snider to join his band during all that stuff. And we had a talk with Joel, and he was like, I mean, you can't say no. I mean, like, you're going to go play. We're not going to take it for, thousands of people. You gotta go try to do that. And so that's what my brother and I did.
Yeah, I think I met you actually, and I'm looking back here at this T-shirt. I think that's kind of the reason why you and I, or at least your brother, I initially had talked to him, and then we actually met in person in the Woodlands, I think, when Dee came and did that show with his shirt off, when it was like 27 degrees outside.
Oh, yes. What a goddamn nightmare that was.
Yeah. It was a good gig, though. A lot of people there. And
No, I still think about that show. What was the venue called?
Lava Cantina.
The Lava, yes, Lava Cantina, yeah.
And there
It
was no
was,
lava to be seen, and it was cold that night.
yeah, it was literally like 30 degrees or something, and it was all hot during the day, and then it like dropped to like 30 degrees, and it was outside, and like I was wearing like I had like a hoodie under my vest, and then D got on stage as we're playing like our background, like our opening music, like the intro music, and D takes his shirt off, and he's like, "Okay, why are you wearing a hoodie, man?" And I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" And so I had to take everything off, and I was just as just like my vest, and then just bare arms, and it was terrifying. Like by the time I got off stage, like I was just completely miserable, but it was still very fun.
Yeah. But so yeah, and I'm sure that you'll have, and Scott's going to probably ask you at the end of our hour what kind of Spinal Tap moments, but I can kind of remember that was one because I was suited up and they had these little heaters everywhere. It's sort of an indoor outdoor venue. There's the stage is covered and part of the venue is covered, but it's a big open space basically outside.
Yep.
And in fact, when I was on the Pentagram tour, we actually played there, and it was hotter than fire. I mean, it was just the complete polar opposite. So I'm like, every time I come here, the weather is an issue. But so anyway, you get off the road with Toxic and you head to the Dee Snider camp. Now, didn't you write all the first album, no, I'm not saying the first Dee Snider, but the one that came out
For the love of metal, yeah.
For the Love of Metal, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Jasta and myself Jamie wrote all the lyrics, and then he and I wrote a lot of the music. Some of the songs like American Made and Tomorrow Was No Concern and stuff, like I wrote the bulk of, and then we brought in like Mark Morton from Lamb of God, and he wrote a song, and Joel Grind wrote the opening song, Lies Are a Business. So we had a bunch of writers on that record, and he when D came to the studio, he sang whatchamacallit, Tomorrow's No Concern and American Made, which are the first songs that we kind of put together, and those are both of the ones that like I wrote. And he was just like, "I like you, we're gonna work well together." And he was just very complimentary. And then I just randomly got a phone call from an odd number, and he was just like, "I want you to go on tour with me and everything." So I had to be like, "Well, okay." And it was legit. Like, we did a Toxic Holocaust tour. It was like all of June, and then we flew home and we rehearsed for like 3 days, and then we did a month with D, and then we had to go back out with Toxic, and he said, "I'll get fill-ins for those two." It was 2 shows over like 3 weeks. And we got the fill-ins. We had to watch the fill-ins play and everything, and we went back out. Toxic played like Vakken and did all this crazy stuff, and that was the end of our run. And funny enough, the drummer that we found, that was a very good drummer. We had multiple rehearsals. D loved him and everything, and then we got a message from everybody on the tour, and they were like, "Oh my god, the show was so bad." And I was like, "What do you mean? Why did the show go bad?" And they go, "Both shows, the drummer messed up the intro to We're Not Gonna Take It and had to stop." And I was like, "What?" Like, out of all the songs you mess up, man, like
That's not
it's
the
kind
one
of
to
an
mess
important
up.
song.
Wow.
So we got there was a minute where it was like they were mad at us, D was mad at us, and then he was like, I just said he was great when we practiced with him, and he wrote back, "You know what? You're right. Never mind. We just got stage fright, and that's whatever it is." And then yeah, we were with D from all of 2008 or all of 2018 and all of 2019, and then we released a live record during COVID, and then we released Leave a Scar in 2021. Did a couple shows for that, and then we did our last show with Dee at the Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding competition.
Oh yeah, I
Arnold,
do remember that. Seeing pictures from that.
yeah, for the first time ever, he was like, Arnold was like, I want a band to open like the heavyweight, posing, thing, like the Saturday night,
Sure.
big thing. And I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love bodybuilding. I was always obsessed with it. Like since I was a kid, I wanted to go to the Arnold Invitational, and so I was like all in. I was like, we gotta go, we gotta go, and um, and it was just a wild scene because you're on stage playing rock and roll, and it's like an arena filled with people. They're all sitting because it's like there's gonna be people like posing in a minute, so it's not like a Gen Pop. Everybody's sitting in nice seats, and literally in the front row, in the middle, is Arnold Schwarzenegger in a big chair, like he's like legit, like he's King Conan at the end of the first movie, just sitting there, just watching. And I was like, this is the weirdest. Like, I don't know what my life is right now because this is so odd.
So speaking of big events, and that is probably the weirdest, biggest event. I saw you at Milwaukee Metal Fest last year, and so
Yep.
what were you doing there? And is that something you do on the regular? Because I saw Nick Petrino also, and
Yeah, what I end up kind of running some like production stuff. We On Thursdays, the pre-party for Milwaukee Metal Fest, the Jasta band headlines that night, and we have like 3 or 4 guests come up, and they'll do covers with us. Like the first year, we got a Bo Staff and a demo there, and we did like Raining Blood and Disciple and all these Slayer songs, and it was very funny because it was before their band was announced. And they were so and they were very good actors because I wrote them after, just like, damn, you guys were like pretending like you pretending like you guys, hey, it's been a while, and they had been obviously been jamming for some time, but yeah, so we bring guests up, and then for like the rest of the weekend, if anybody can stay, he has us just kind of assist him with production. Like I was the production manager for the bar stage last year, and I'll probably be doing the same thing again this year.
yeah, you were busy as a one-armed paper hanger back there. So, but it was good
Yeah.
to see you just briefly. But
Hey, before we move on, John, we had a question from Helma Hades asked about the song "Mask" on the Love of Metal album.
What is it?
the song
Mask off the Love of Metal album for the Love of Metal.
Yes. What about it?
He just said it was his favorite song, and anything about it.
Let's see. That was originally going to be a Jasta song. We Mark Morton had written it from Lamb of God, and we probably recorded it like 11 times. Like there are so many versions of it because it was going to be on the first Jasta album, and then it was going to be on like Lost Chapters 1 or whatever. Like we couldn't make it make sense for us for some reason, and then we were like, oh, let's go back to this idea, and we were all like, it's not gonna work, just let's never mind. And Jamie was like, no, there's something here. And then he went in and sang that chorus that's on the record, and then like we kind of like reworked the song, and it made more sense. And yeah, like it was a song that sat around for many, many years, and then we had to like Jamie had to call Mark Morton because some of this stuff that he had sent us was years and years ago, and he released that solo album that he did with that he had a solo album, and like Chester Bennington and all these famous people had sang on it, and we were like all scared because he was like, hey, you didn't use any of those riffs that I sent, right? Because I'm releasing a solo album. And Jamie was like, oh my God, like we did. Like, do we have to change the entire song? And then luckily we he didn't end up using that song on the record, so he got saved. But yeah, one thing nobody knows is that the D record, the Ripper record, and the Corpse Grinder record, all three of them, there is like the ultimate Japanese import with all of the music done, but Jamie singing all the songs instead of the artist,
Oh, that's cool.
and named. And well, except for Leave a Scar, because Dee ended up writing the lyrics for Leave a Scar. But for the Love of Metal and the Ripper solo album, and then the Corpse Grinder record was like, I think 70 or 80% written by Jamie, for George. And so yeah, we have all those demos with him just singing all the songs, which is just so funny.
That is kind of funny. So what you got cooking now? Because I mean, you tipped your hand. Gosh, how long ago did you send me? You sent me a request and you said, "Hey, what do you think about Eastblood? Can you do something with a logo like whatever?" And I already had an idea, and I guess you had somebody else working on it, but I kept sending you ideas, and then I ended up sending you the horny goat skull thing, and it seems to work. I saw it on some of your promo stuff. So tell us about Eastblood, because it rocks. And this is your first soiree in singing, right?
Well, Kings and Liars I sing, but
okay,
this
that's
is like
right.
really, really screaming. Eastblood, if any streaming service known to man, you go to you look up Eastblood, all one word, and our first song is out now. It's called Grift Witch, and maybe I guess the impetus for it probably happened years ago when I was out with Dee Snider. Me and Nick Petrino, the other guitar player for Dee Snider, and then I brought him in with Jasta as well. We were just walking around at all the Eurofest, just going, none of these young bands are doing like the dual soloing stuff that Judas Priest used to do, or Slayer does, or like Megadeth does, but nobody young is really doing it. And we tried to find examples, and there's one or two, but it was like we were like, oh, I really want to do that. We should do that sometime. And we just ended up once COVID hit, I was like, okay, let's do this band right now. And I had a demo or two that were like, one of them will actually be on the Eastblood record, but I just had a demo or two, and I was like, would this work? Would this work? I don't know. And we all got busy. He went on tour with his his death metal band, My Missing Half, and I was out. I was out doing stuff. My daughter was born in 2020, so on and off, I'd be home. I was out with Kings and Liars. And then we did I did the Many Eyes record with my brother and the singer Keith Buckley, and so we were just busy. And then I at some point I wasn't busy anymore, and I just said, okay, it's time. And it was probably the end of 2024. I just started writing lyrics to all the demos I had, and all of 25 we just spent fine tuning it and writing it. And I slowly put a band together, and here we finally are.
So is this going to be more hardcore? Is it going to be metal?
It is the basis of it is thrash metal, and then it's like thrash metal with some hardcore melodic choruses. The majority of the songs are like super fast thrash, and the majority of the songs have dueling solos all over it. I mean, the song that we just released, Grift Witch, I think there's nine solos in the song. Or I guess you would say lead breaks. But yeah, there's my other guitar player, Petrino, is just ripping all over the place, and then I go back and forth, and he's like this very articulated, awesome player like like Randy Rhoads or something, and then I kind of sound like Slash with CTE, just like trying to get by. We have very different styles, and I ended up really liking it because I was like, I'm not like, I have a very blues based background, and that's like always what I liked. Like I liked Slash, and I liked how Vernon Reid always sounded like he was like falling down a flight of stairs while he's playing guitar. Like he's so good, but then he's doing a guitar solo, and you're like, I think you're trying to like emulate like when a saxophone does the jazz solos. It's like, like all that crazy stuff, and I'm like, I always liked all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like that weird dichotomy on, and Griftwich was just the perfect example. So we decided to put that one out first.
Right on. Well, I really like Nick's playing. It is different, but there you almost sort of had it's kind of a Henneman, Kerry King thing going on, because I think Henneman was probably more technical, and then King was more of a riff guy. Like you're a riff monster, and I think Nick kind of fills in that similar role as Henneman might have in that situation. But so what are the plans? I mean, obviously, to make money at this, which I don't know if that's the goal, but I think you should always get paid for your work. So what's the
but you're talking about music. We get paid for that?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, we're talking about music. So what are your plans? Do you have a label already, or are people nosing around with that? Or
yeah, I mean, right now we were just I was just like, we were like gonna like pitch it and try to go to labels and do this and that, and I just said, why don't, instead of just pretending like we're big industry guys, let's just go back to just being a band like when we were kids, and let's put out a song, and then let's just go play some shows, and the record will probably come out like in June, like May or June. Like we'll get the CDs made and all that stuff, and make it all pretty, and then I mean, I'm a psychopath, so I've already written like 14 more songs or something. So like we more felt like we should just get out there. The quicker we do it at the beginning of the year, the more motivated we'll be. We have a lot of, obviously touring friends and everything. So we want it to be out. I mean, our drummer is Rob Ewells from Generation Kill, which is Rob Dukes's from Exodus's other band. And just like stuff like that, we're like, oh, well, if what if Exodus comes through, New Jersey or Connecticut or something, and, we have the opportunity to, open or whatever, like, it would be good to be an actual functioning band as opposed to like not have anything out. So like, we just said we got to start putting stuff out and just be a band like it used to be. So yeah, right now there's no label, and we have enough music that if somebody comes knocking, we'll have a label for the next one.
Right on.
Scott, we're intrigued by the brick wall.
Brick wall. What?
Yeah, I'm looking at you, and you're frozen in time with a brick wall behind you. Is that what everyone else sees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What the heck? I'm gonna take myself out and figure that out real quick, because I can't see that. So it's.
I just thought, wow, is he trying to? Yes, you are issuing some sort of an impactful statement there, but anyway.
No, that's.
Yeah, but so what's been the most rewarding thing that you've done in the last, let's just say, the year, because this is brand new year and everything, and you got different goals and things you're going to try and do. What's
I can't hear anything.
Check. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Scott may have broke something.
Oh. Hello? Check.
I don't know what to do with the back.
Okay,
Here I
now
am.
we are.
Scott, you're the same. You're still the frozen brick wall.
I don't know what's going on with that. That's something with.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time. I'm not sure what happened there.
Technology. So, what's your most rewarding thing you've done in the past year, and what are you going to target moving forward in 2026? And then I have to ask you if you like the new Megadeth.
Let's see. Rewarding thing outside of music or in music?
Both.
I would probably say outside of music, the most rewarding thing I did last year was lose like 60 pounds. And the most rewarding thing in music was somehow I've never mixed a record before or like recorded a whole record. I always just kind of write a demo and then I send like little fake computer drums. And my brother was on tour with Many Eyes for like a month and a half. So I had our drummer, Rob, he recorded drums in one place and he sent them all to me. And then I tracked all of the guitars. And then I sent that audio to Nick Petrino and he tracked his audio and he sent it back. And then I sent it all to Chris Bodette, who's also in Kings and Liars. And he sent it back. And then I recorded all the vocals myself. And actually doing a whole record kind of myself, engineering wise, was pretty cool.
Right on. So what do you think of the new Megadeth?
I don't know, man. Like it's fine.
Okay.
That's it. I don't know. Like
I don't think it's earth shattering or groundbreaking or either, but I mean, I like it. Well, I mean, will it be my go-to? Well, no, probably not. But what about Mega Dave doing Ride the Lightning?
I felt like that was probably, you know, I don't know the man, but it just feels like something that he needed to do, you know, like clearly getting kicked out of that band when he was whatever, you know, 19 or 18 or something. It messed him up for his whole goddamn life. So if he needed to cover a song that he co-wrote, and maybe that gets him to a point in his life, like after this band ends, where he could like, you know, be happy, like walking around, like then whatever. I mean, they did it like kind of note for note the same. And you know, they paid full respect to it. Which is normally like you wait for him to like kind of, you know, be be somehow like offensive, to Metallica while talking about it. But he's just like, oh, Lars is a great songwriter and James is such a fantastic guitar player. And you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's actually better. Like, you know, what a wonderful idea, you know?
Yeah, maybe there's some catharsis there, and then calling it your last record and whatever. I don't know. It's sort of like
kind of weird for me. I don't even feel like it was his idea.
Will he potentially do like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, like Screw Up, and like the last show say something wildly offensive about Metallica? It's very possible. And but you know, people get old. It's something like the Rolling Stones can get old and they can still play Satisfaction and they can still write new songs, and the new songs will still they're still going to kind of vibe a little similar. But you know, like Metallica and Megadeth and like Judas Priest and stuff, like it's another level of athleticism. And when people are like, "Oh, why can't they do it like they used to?" and it's like, I don't know why. Like, why is Michael Jordan not still playing basketball at 61? Like, because It's fucking hard. And like, I mean, drummers, like, I still can't believe like Scott Travis is still going. He's crushing it. And like, I don't know what Halford did, what deal with the devil he decided to make, but he is hitting all those notes, and it's just shocking. And
I will say he's using
I saw them a year or two ago, and I'm like, how did you figure this out again? Like, because there was a point where he was kind of falling off, and you're like, oh, like this. Oh,
well, and do remember that he wasn't sober. He had a torn muscle in his abdomen, and he had back issues, and then he got it all fixed and got cleaned up, got a little more healthy, and you know. But then I hearken back to Dio, and I don't know what kind of lifestyle he lived, but he was dying of cancer and still hitting the high notes. So I think some of it is just pure will. But to your point,
well, even Dave, though, I don't know. I mean, his voice is starting to go now.
It's way harder to continue in that metal world, and like I guess Dave Mustaine never. It doesn't. I want to say I read something like he like didn't want to do like the vocal exercises or the warm ups or whatever, and so you do what you can, and he's still kind of been doing it forever. I mean, if I was him and if I was Metallica, I'd be like, I'd be like, hey guys, let's just write a Countdown to Extinction like record, because that's probably easier than trying to do Rust in Peace, too, and like and if I was Metallica, I'd be like, let's just write another Black Album because it's got to be way easier on my goddamn joints, than like trying to do all the fast stuff,
Well, yeah, they did. They've been writing the Black Album for the last 3 or 4 records. I mean,
it's like a weird mix. And it's a better mix, but it's like there's definitely fast stuff involved.
True.
But it's a nice mix now what they do, and it makes more sense for the age that they are.
Sure.
So, you know who's still killing it? That's older is James Rivera and the Hellstar guys.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
are you familiar with Hellstar? Texas band, James Rivera.
I don't.
Some people call him the Mexican Dio. And it used to be a point of contention, but now he kind of embraces it.
Tornillo.
I never heard of him.
Too. He's he's I think early 70s, and he's still hitting those high notes. It's insane how good he sounds.
I can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
You can't hear me? Or
no,
Steve?
Somebody was just up top. Yeah. You were talking. I couldn't hear you.
Can you guys hear me, Scott?
I can hear you. I'll turn your mic up though on my end here.
No.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
I think I can only hear you, John. That's weird.
That's very strange.
I was able to hear people before.
Boy, we're really StreamYard's going to get a nasty gram from us today.
A strongly worded email, as they say.
Yes, that's exactly right. So when you're just sitting around the house and there's nobody home and you want to put something on the stereo and crank it up, what are 3 bands or 3 records that you'd want to check out at a high volume?
Let's see. I would say for favorite records, I love there's a band called Cave In, and they're from Boston, and they have metal records and all this stuff, but they have a record called Jupiter, and Jupiter it's like a weird space rock record, but it's just friggin' perfect. Just front to back amazing. And it takes you on a journey, and you could hear like there's moments where they're like embracing like Rush and all this kind of stuff, and all this more kind of proggy stuff, and it's just such a blast.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
Let's see. As far as like really like heavy stuff, I would probably say I can still listen to the first Hatebreed record, Satisfaction Is That's a Desire. It's like hardcore is Rain and Blood. Like, it's just perfect. It's so fast. It's like done in 29 minutes or something, and there's like 14 songs, and like there have been times before where I've turned that on and I'm just like, I'll just be listening and I'm like, this is so funny that I know the person playing this fucking music. Yeah, I could listen to that, and then for a way more out there thing is a Canadian rock band called Big Wreck. they had a 90s hit or two, and then they were like they used to say they were a Boston band, and then you found out that the singer was Canadian, and when they got back together, he hired a bunch of Canadians so they could like get paid, because you get like money from the government in Canada to like play Canadian music, because you're like, it's like some form of like tourism or something. It's some weird thing, like you're promoting Canada, and you get played on the radio if the band is overwhelmingly Canadian and all that kind of stuff. And they wrote a record called Albatross, which is just, it's like a hard rock record. And the singer guitar player is like, he's got a Cornell level voice, and just does this. One of the solos on the record was like nominated for like the best solo of the 2010s on Guitar Magazine, just because they were like, this is the craziest solo I've ever heard in my life. And so yeah, that would be the three, I guess.
Well, I'm learning something. I mean, I knew about Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. That's a crusher and always has been. In fact, we were having a little debate about Hatebreed prior on our little group text prior to the show. And I really like Perseverance. I think that's a harkening back to
that's
that.
my favorite is Perseverance, but I love
that's harkening back to that similar, just all out, all the way to the wall aggression. But yeah, it's hard to, that's where you would start with them. If I were putting you in like, where do I start with Hatebreed? Yeah, those two probably would be there.
Fraser Dawson's got a question for Charlie.
Oh, what?
Right there on
Somebody
the screen.
says, what is your guilty pleasure that nobody would expect you to listen to? Well, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and then a 12-year or 13-year-old stepdaughter. So basically, all the stuff that nobody would expect me to listen to are things that they have to play in the car. So
Been there.
For the last year,
Still doing
I had
that,
to listen
unfortunately.
to like the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack 1,000 times, and
yeah, my grandkids are into that. It's horrible.
The 13-year-old really got into Sabrina Carpenter, so I had to listen to her forever. And then I fought to not have to listen to the Wicked soundtrack, but occasionally I would have to listen to the Wicked soundtrack as well. But if I had to pick one of those as a guilty pleasure, I would probably say the K-pop Demon Hunters record, because as much as the songs are like annoying, like I'll be like, oh, this goddamn song is so fucking annoying. Like 45 minutes later, I can't get it out of my head, and I'm like, all right, well, they did something right here, because these songs are freaking catchy. I don't even like it, and it's catchy.
Yep, that's for sure. My grandkids watch that K-pop, J-pop, whatever it is, Demon Hunters as well. So, because I was listening to one of my guilty pleasures today. I haven't listened to this thing in years. But anybody else like this Genesis album?
I like all the Genesis. I mean, even back to the Peter Gabriel era. And of course,
I love the Peter Gabriel era, but I rarely listen to the poppier stuff. But I like it. So
I'm a little older, so I was more steeped in that early '70s stuff.
Same here.
But it's just I don't know, man. It that's the foundation for, we've had this discussion before, as where does proto metal and what's the real foundation of rock and heavy metal. And it, I mean, you could start with Black Sabbath, I guess. That I think they made it more popular. What do you think about Black Sabbath, Charlie? You got any hot sports opinions about Sabbath?
No, they're just great. I mean, everybody, it's for whatever arguments there used to be. I feel like at some point, even like because people used to like slam Ozzy and be like, "Oh, Dio's the better singer," and blah 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 blah. But at some point, like they did that farewell tour. They did the Ozzy farewell tour with the band for whatever, that year or two. They did that, and like like I went to 2 of the shows, and all my friends were like, "Oh, how's he looking rough up there? Oh God, this is so sad." Because it's like the second song in, he's trying to sing, and he's fine. He's like a 70% out of 100. He's doing fine. And then by the end of the show, they're like, Ozzy is the best because they're like he didn't used to not stop moving, was just running back and forth, smiling the whole show, and they like realized like, oh no, this guy really likes what he does. Even though he was just a completely insane person. He really did like rock and roll, you know?
Yeah. Did you see them on the End tour?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw them twice too. And in fact, the first time we saw them was in Denver, and that was their first American show. And we paid a little extra for the first 2 rows, and then we got to go to sound check, which was really probably better than the meet and greet, because the meet and greet was more like a cattle call, stand on the tape, get your picture taken, don't interact, don't talk to them, don't shake their hand, don't give them anything. But at the sound check, each member discussed their rig, what they were playing, their backup unit. They introduced Wakeman's kid as the keyboard player. Ozzy was very engaging, and even though he kind of shuffled out there, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, here we go. And then he seemed pretty lucid and healthy, and so I thought that when they went out on the End, I thought that they were hitting on all cylinders, as many cylinders as they had left. Even though Bill Ward wasn't there, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but I had read all the articles, and he just physically, like you said, the older you get, that stuff is physical, man. And he was a physical drummer back in the 70s. But I thought Tommy Cluflatos looked just like a 70s version of Bill Ward back there. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I was hoping that what's his name, Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine was gonna, because he did the record, he did the drums on that record, and I was hoping that they would have him go out. I understand why they had Ozzy's drummer go out, because Ozzy's drummer was being paid a retainer, quite frankly, for a year. So they were like, well, we're already paying him, so let's bring him out. We're not doing Ozzy shows, let's bring him out here. Like, and it makes sense, and he's a great drummer. But I love I love all the musicianship in Rage Against the Machine, and I always think that it's not discussed enough. But like Brad Wilk and Timmy Comerford are just one of the greatest rhythm sections maybe ever. They're just so locked in.
Well, you guys come from similar backgrounds too. Both guys have that hardcore background.
Charlie, a couple people are asking if your new band has a website or.
Hear you, Scott.
Okay. Oh, ask John if you can hear me. Ask him if his new band has a website. I don't know what's going on with the sound.
Okay, since we don't know what's going on with the sound, Charlie, what is there a website? Or I know there's a Facebook page and Instagram, and it's just Eastblood, EASTBLOOD, all one word. And
Eastblood or Eastblood Band on Instagram and stuff like that.
What's the link on Facebook? Is that what it is? Eastblood?
Eastblood.
On every streaming service. I haven't really put up a record myself in, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, even before that. And what a pain in the ass it is to get it on all the streaming services. Like, they're like, oh yeah, it only takes a day. And then like, it was like day 7. And I'm like, when the fuck is it going to be on spot? Like, nothing was working right. And then I looked further into the website. They're like, oh, well, the first time you upload stuff, it's going to take a considerable amount of time. And I was like, oh,
wow.
Well, I didn't know that. But
are you on Bandcamp by chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Bandcamp, I believe, is Eastblood Band as well.
Okay.
There's some people. I don't know. He can't hear me, but some people were asking. So I just put the link up to the Facebook page.
Okay, we got your link up to the Facebook page, is what Scott's saying. If you can't still hear him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't. I don't know what happened. When he came back, all of a sudden, I couldn't hear him.
Strange. But well, we'll play tag team here, and
I just put a question in the comments.
Okay. Oh. You see that? What is it like working with Kirk and Jamie of the Kingdom of Sorrow? Any stories?
Yeah, I'll give you a story, and I've gotten approval from Kirk that I'm allowed to tell the story. But we we got asked. Kingdom of Sorrow got asked to play in Australia with Metallica. It was like the Soundwave Festival, and Metallica was headlining it. So they were like, we want to pick the lineup for the festival, and it was like, you know, it was Slayer and Anthrax and like Fozzy and Unearth, and I think it was like 60 bands or something. It was crazy. Linkin Park was one of the other headliners, and Perfect Circle, and any band you could possibly imagine was playing it because it's Australia, so it takes forever. What is that other Corey Taylor band? Oh, Stone Sour. Duff McKagan's Loaded was playing. Like, it was just constant bands, and but Metallica picked each one, and so they picked us. We flew down there. Kirk did not have a good flight. He just was awake the whole time. He couldn't go to sleep. He was just exhausted, and then he gets there, and he was just messed up. Like, he could not catch up with sleep. So like, we played a sideshow with we were opening, it was just a Slayer show, and it was just Slayer, Anthrax, and Kingdom of Sorrow. And like, so he just like slept all day, and then just like jumped on stage, played the show, and then like went back to bed because he was just jet lagged. He couldn't kick it. And a day or two later, we were playing this little club. It was Kingdom of Sorrow and the Cancer Bats, and they were headlining it. And this is my worst show ever, because Kirk was exhausted. He had not slept really at all. Like, he was like, I can't sleep, like just freaking out. And so he drinks, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 Red Bulls in the period of like 15 minutes or something. And we're at the show. He has a beer or two. He's drinking the Red Bulls, and we're like, hey man, cool it. You're gonna get all hopped up, and and he, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then it's like time to play, and he's going like this. He's like, guys, look, I'm shaking. Because he had so much caffeine in him. He was like, I can't be calm. And we were about to play, and he's like, I'm just gonna take some, and it was Ativan. It was some shit like that, like one of those medicines that just calm you the fuck down. Like, I think it was an Ativan or some shit like that. And he pops that, and we're like, no, spit that out. Like, you can't have that. No. It'll be fine. And like, no joke, 2 songs in, he went from just being 1,000 to like 0. And he was just like falling asleep, standing up on stage. He was like messing all the notes up, and we kept turning the volume down on his amp. Our bass player would like just go back, and he would like move the volume down in the amp. And then like at the end of the song, we'd stop, and he'd be like, someone's messing with my volume. Like, he knew that we were screwing with him. But like, he was so worried about being awake that he was just on 1,000 with all these Red Bulls, and then he took something to just go down, and he just went down so hard. And he maybe only had 2 beers or something, but he was just completely out of his mind because of that medicine. And it was a disaster of a show.
I'm trying to think when I saw you with Kingdom of Sorrow, and was it Guar? Was it Guar and Toxic Holocaust?
If it was that tour, I wasn't in the band at the time. I joined after that tour.
Was Nicky in the band?
Yes, he was in the band. And then I joined, and we did Mayhem Fest. When I was in the band. And for one more Kingdom of Sorrow story, which I also have permission to tell, because we told it, I think, maybe twice on Sirius satellite radio years ago. So Kirk is aware, but It was leading up. We were recording Behind the Blackest Tears, and it was leading up to the Saints going to the Super Bowl. And, Kirk's from New Orleans. And he at the end of the story, he had to fly home when they won to go to the Super Bowl. He was like, I can't be here anymore. Like, I'm going. And like he had to be home, so he was there for the Super Bowl. He wanted to be with his people for the Super Bowl. He couldn't not be there, which whatever, I get. And but he was up for a few weeks, and he would he was watching the Saints win and like go to the playoffs and go to the championship game and all that kind of stuff. And I was still working at the time, and then I would show up at 2:00 or something, and I would hear what they did during the day, and then I would add stuff, or we would rewrite stuff or whatever. And I get a text message from Jamie Jasta on Monday morning, and he says he's hammered. And I write back, it's 8:45 in the morning. And he said, I know, but the Saints won last week, and now they're going to the NFC Championship game. And like, he just drank all night because he's partying because he's so excited about the Saints. And can you come here? Like, there was some songs where I played guitar, there were some songs he played guitar, and he was like, can you come and play your guitar songs now so we can like, we don't lose the day? And I was like, okay. And like, I found an excuse to get out of work, and I split and I go down there, and Kirk's in there like singing some of his vocals for the record. And he walks back into the room, and I'm sitting next to Jamie, and my phone blinks, and it says, don't say anything to him, but I told them all the liquor stores were closed because it's election day. And I'm looking at the text like, it's January. Like, who has an election in January? What are you talking about? Like, how does this fly one bit, And he goes back in to do more vocals, and I'm like, he's gonna have to find out about this. And he's like, no, I think it'll be fine. And then sure enough, he comes back in, and he's like, goddamn election day. Like, he literally brought it up. Like, he was mad that like he couldn't get some beers or whatever. And the rest of the time he was fine. They won the NFC Championship game, and he was like, I'm leaving. I have to go home and prepare. And the record was done. And then whatever, a year later or 6 months later, we were on the Mayhem Fest. Jamie tells that story. And again, mind you, it happened a year before. And Kirk was so mad at him that he wasn't allowed to drink. And we're like, this was a year ago. And he's just like, I can't believe you lied to me. And he was just so mad about it. And but it was just so like, I'll never forget that I was just looking at my phone, just going, election day. How do you for a second think it's election day? But I don't know.
He was always
he
drinking
did.
back then.
Yeah. He's
He was
cleaned
a
it up a
heavy
little
drinker.
bit. He's cleaned it up a little bit, but
Oh yeah,
So
he's
there-
working
is
out
there
like
ever-
crazy and is posting crazy TikTok videos. And
yeah.
he got Crowbar like got into some algorithm, and like they were some song, I think from Sonic XS, was like got in some TikTok algorithm, like when people
nice.
were, I don't know, doing a dance, or it was just like background music or something, and it just plays and plays. Everybody just uses the same thing. And I guess like last year they couldn't, any of the shirts from that particular record, again, I think it was Sonic XS, was they could not keep those shirts in stock. Like, and they were on tour, and it was like, I saw him at some point, and he was just like, yeah, literally, it's like the whole show was like 17-year-old kids. I don't even know what the fuck is happening. And then somebody finally said, you have some crazy TikTok video. He's like, oh, really?
Wow. Well, I guess the internet is useful for some things. If it gets people paid, that's for sure.
Well, that video of Bobby helped him sell that
Yeah.
tour out.
Oh yeah, no kidding though. The staring with the fan, and being on tour with them for 15 shows, 15 days, you learn a lot about people. But we had, in fact, Steve, didn't you get us an extra fan? I know it was like a dual fan thing because they wanted to like reenact that particular stare with the hair flowing and all that stuff. So whatever gets you clicks, I guess. But anyway,
were they
Charlie,
were they trying to do that stare? Like they were trying to make
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Well, he's always done it on stage. I saw him like 10 years ago, and he did that.
It just somebody took a picture of it, and it just went insane, and that's basically what repurposed him and put him back on the map. And once again, I know all the guys in the current band, and he's gone through a revolving door there. But that being said, if it puts him back out on the road, they got new music already written. So we're looking forward to that. But the world is so crazy, and the internet does not help that craziness. But
Hey, John.
Yeah,
I know we're running out of time, but why don't you end the show since some people can't hear me? So do it the same way I do it, or however you want to do it. I don't care. Just let me know, and I'll put up the banners and stuff when you say them.
Okay, Charlie, can you hear Scott?
No,
not again.
Can't.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. You know how we end it? We're usually trying to stick to an hour or whatever. But so where can they find it? Go ahead and go through the social media routine. Where can they find Eastblood? And then we'll go with
at all social media, it's either Eastblood or Eastblood Band, and all social media for me is just Charlie Bellmore. I do weekly 3 or 4 TikToks a week now. I show favorite riffs of mine. I show you how to play riffs that I've written. I write riffs every single week, and I let everybody on my TikTok say if they're good or not, and just to let people in on the artistic process, just because I just thought that was interesting.
And by the way, to your point, that's really, I mean, it's fun for me to figure out what, to see what you're going to do next. And not just because you're a friend of mine and I know you, but the fact of the matter is I love metal, and it's all about the riff to me too. And the fact that you're doing that, and I think it's fun for people to see that it ain't easy, and when it's good, it's great. So keep it up, and I hope it helps with the process. But anyway, Steve, where can they find you? As always,
Harmless Rebel on YouTube and Harmless_Rebel on Instagram.
Okay, and Scott, you can find him everywhere. He's like omnipresent. He's No Life Till Metal. He's Scott Waters on YouTube. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. And you can find me at In the Crypt on 128 DB Rock, also with Carcass John's Alter Ego. And I've been playing the heck out of some of those Kings and Liars songs on there,
Awesome.
Charlie. And Instagram, you can check out some of my artistic meanderings at Carcass John Art. And the way we end this thing is we just sort of dismount by saying, metal will
prevail.